So there's a little challenge out there that CW Longshot put out, being that squirrel season is starting right now across the country in the different states. Ours actually started around middle of August, but it's just too hot for me to go out there and chase bushy tails. I am working on a new squirrel rifle, but the challenge is, what's your favorite squirrel rifle? Well, I've got a couple set out here that I'll point on. This one in the front here, I bought this in, I'm going to say 85, 86, somewhere in that area. It's a Marlin Model 60. Has the full length magazine tube, also has the last round hold open. I don't use it that much anymore, but I have used it quite a bit in the pursuit of these bushy tails. So anyway, I would have to say that was probably my favorite at one time. It's got a Bushnell scope on it. I kind of keep that one in the safe these days, being retired. I could still get it out and shoot it, but I definitely need to take it completely apart and clean it up. But I remember when I bought this, I think it was at a Kmart. Actually, I didn't buy it. My stepmother bought it for me for my birthday. I brought the flyer out of the Sunday paper in, and I pointed it out, and I said, hey, look, this little 22 is only $60. That's what I want for my birthday. So she went down there and got it for me. And I was probably 22, 23 at the time. I can't remember. I can't keep up. Let's just put it that way. That was a long time ago. So then, friend of mine picked this one up. This is the Marlin 781 at a pawn shop. We were on a WMA hunt, and we took some time out to go up to a pawn shop, and he found this, and it was a good deal, and he picked it up. And I told him pretty much that I wanted it, and I gave him what he paid for it. And one of the reasons I wanted it, it was a bolt action. I did not have a bolt action 22, and well, I do now. So anyway, that's one of the bolt action 22s that I have, and I just really like it. Really nice little gun. It shoots well, shoots really good. Needs a cleaning. All my guns probably need cleanings, but since I have these out today, I will be running a brush through the bore at the least and wiping them down. But given that these are listed as a couple of my squirrel getters, and you would think with all the Ruger 1022s I have that I'd have one of those out as a favorite squirrel getter, but I do not. Now I may try one of my breakdowns, Ruger 1022 takedown, let's put it that way, that I can put a suppressor on, but the problem with those is they do not have a way that you can put a strap on there to carry it on your shoulder. I'm sure I could rig something up, but I'm not going to fool with it. I've got one that I'm working on that's been in some other videos that I'll show you what's going to be my favorite squirrel gun. So this is the one I'm working on to make it into my new favorite squirrel gun. I can't really say it's a favorite because I haven't ever taken it out, but this is the one that I am going to dedicate to taking into the woods. This one is one that I inherited from my stepfather. He passed recently. Had Alzheimer's, and it finally caught up to him, but he lived a long time. But he had a passion like I did. He had a lot of guns, and he just loved to shoot. And the original Marlin Model 60 that I got from him has a green and black laminate stock on it. And he was supposed to be getting rid of his guns because of his Alzheimer's. And then after I was moving him out of the house and into a more of a assisted living type facility, I was collecting up his guns and I found this one. And he had gone out and bought this one after I got his original Marlin Model 60 from him, and he was not supposed to. So anyway, I gave him some money for this, try and help him out a little bit. And this is a Remington-made Marlin Model 60. The finish on it is some type of lacquer finish, which I hate. One of the things I'm going to do with this is replace this stock, not permanently, but for my squirrel hunting purposes. I'm going to put a synthetic stock on it, and ATI makes one that's relatively cheap. Hopefully it'll be lighter than the wood. I don't know that it will be, but it has the built-in sling swivels on it, so I can, or studs I should say, and I can put a sling on it, and that's one of my requirements for a squirrel gun. I need to be able to throw the thing on my shoulder when I'm tromping around in the woods. Anyway, this has a 15 round magazine, and what they've done, they've shortened the barrel, which I actually like the shorter barrel because it's more maneuverable in the brush. So anyway, one of the things I was mentioning a minute ago, and I had to pause, was that these scope rings are just some cheap stuff that I had in a bag, but they fit that little 22 rail. I'm going to replace these with the Burris all steel 22 rail type scope rings, and I may actually splurge and get me a better scope. Although this scope works, I have no problem with it. That's one of the things I wanted to do when I was making this, or let me put it this way. When I was considering putting together a squirrel rifle for this coming year, I had considered building a Ruger 1022, but after looking at all the parts and the prices and everything, I thought, why should I do that? I have multiple 22s. One of the requirements that I personally like is I want a semi-auto. I want something where I can get the shots downrange with a follow-up shot if needed real quick. So anyway, that's why I went with the semi-auto. And I thought, well, I have this little Marlin Model 60 that's Remington made. It's already kind of cheap, so let me start putting it together. And I put that scope on there, which was something I didn't pay much for. And then the stock I'm going to put on there is going to be about $60. I did put an M Carbo trigger kit in here because that trigger was at least 9 pounds. I've got it down to 4 with the M Carbo trigger spring kit. But anyway, this is what's going to be my squirrel gun. And when I put that synthetic stock on there, I won't have to worry about scratching it up. And when I take this wood one off, I'm going to sand it down real good, and I'm going to refinish it to where it's got a decent finish on it, because right now with this lacquer finish, I just cannot stand that on a gun. That is horrible. It needs to be an oil finish of some type. So I'll probably do it in a linseed oil or true oil or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to refinish that stock while I have it off. But anyway, this is it. The Marlin Model 60. And that's going to be my squirrel getter come this season. All right, this is the Marlin Model 60 that I put the M Carbo trigger kit in, trigger spring kit, I should say. And I'm going to let my friend shoot it. He's going to try some shotgun shells. He's going to test paper first, but the hammer or the trigger on it was about 8 pounds or 8+ pounds. Now it's down to 4, so I want him to see what the trigger feels like now with that kit in there. Shoot that one on the